Good evening, everyone. We're really happy to have you all here. It's an honor to have this amazing audience for this first masterclass organized by Universidad Mesoamericana and Profesorados en Inglés. We're also thrilled to have the opportunity to share with you the way we teach and assess the writing skill. So please enjoy, and we'll see you next week as well for the next session. Take care.
Good evening to everyone. My name is Diana Godinez and I'll be your host tonight. Welcome to this work brought to you by Universidad Mesoamericana and Profesorados en Inglés. We have prepared this activity to provide educational growth to our community. It's a series of 4 master classes and a forum that has been prepared to enhance our teaching skills. The speakers have prepared very useful information that I'm sure we will take advantage of. Diplomas will be provided for our participants within the next weeks. Questions will be asked at the end of the presentation. So if you have any question, please save it to the end. We'll be glad to ask it for you. Welcome and enjoy.
Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to Universidad Mesoamericana's The Writing Skill. This night, we will introduce one of our first speakers first, Mr. Gabriel Pinto. My name is Dan Stewart, and I hope that you enjoy this meeting. Gabriel Pinto knows that improving your writing skills also develops your communication and critical thinking. This is his 5th year teaching EFL in Guatemala and his 2nd year teaching English online. He has taught EFL in IGA for 4 years and in Open English for over a year. Gabriel loves teaching English. He majored in PEM en Inglés and in Licenciatura en Administración Educativa at Mesoamericana University. Currently, he enjoys teaching writing composition in Mesoamericana University. Gabriel knows firsthand how difficult it can be to write in a foreign language. He teaches students how to write academic paragraphs, essays, and articles so that they can communicate their ideas effectively. For the past year, he has integrated a variety of technological tools to enhance his teaching methodology in writing assessments. He believes that writing gives us the ability to refine and explain our ideas to others and ourselves.
Mr. Willems, MA, is an art historian educated at the University of Leiden in the Netherlands. He worked for years as an editor and a cultural journalist in the Netherlands, and is currently a university teacher at the Mesoamericana University in Guatemala. He is the author of the book Más que mirar, un recorrido por el origen y el sentido del arte contemporáneo, and several published essays and articles in English, Dutch, French, and Spanish. One of his major interests is to communicate his love of reading and writing to his students and help them become proficient writers themselves. No more further wait, let's start with Mr. Willems and Mr. Pinto.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this masterclass. My name is Beard Willems, and I will tell you all a little bit of about how we see writing at the Mesoamericana, how we teach it, how we assess it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Gabriel Pinto, and I want to thank you all for coming here today. We're going to begin talking about the writing skill and why we think it's important.
There we go. teaching the writing skill. Both of us have are teaching or have taught this very important skill. Remember that learning a language, any language, is about 4 basic skills. You begin with listening, then you start speaking, and then at some point you learn how to read and to write. And mostly when you learn a language, even your own first language, the writing skill comes last. It's the last thing you learn.
Well, I believe that the writing skill is extremely important because it's a tool that we can use to solve problems. So the writing skill is something that's extremely important for us, not only to solve problems, or it doesn't only open doors of opportunity for us. It's something that we can use in our professional life, in academia, and in our personal lives. This is a tool that we can use in practically everything. I think it's extremely important because it's a tool that helps us think critically. The best way to think critically is to learn writing. Because in writing, we organize ideas into a logical manner to help articulate what we want to say. And in being able to articulate an argument clearly and concisely is what gives us the opportunities, and it's what opens doors for us in the future.
Exactly, Gabriel. So what we wanted to do this evening is to show you a little bit about how we teach the writing skill. And I would like to begin with our philosophy. Behind our teaching is a certain philosophy. The first point is that we believe that writing is a skill. And so it's not a gift, it's not a talent, it's really a skill. So everybody can learn how to write well. So as teachers, that is our goal, to guide our students into being able to write well, to be confident writers. And as with any skill, you can get better at it. And what we try to do is to show our students that they are improving. So as Gabriel already mentioned, writing is vital. It's important for your education. It helps you pass classes, and also after your education, writing is a vital skill. With writing, well, you can write an application letter. You know, you can get a job after your graduation. Writing helps you to organize your thoughts, helps you to build an argument. So it's really a skill that will help you for the rest of your life. So at Mesoamericana, we focus on the individual student. This has a lot to do with the fact that we are a Salesian institution. We kind of follow the philosophy of Don Bosco about teaching and education. And for him, the individual was very important. So what we try to do is to guide our students, each and every one of them, to become better writers. And this may seem impossible, right? How can you, in a big class of 24 students, be able to guide each and every one of them? Well, we have some tricks for that. Just to give you one example, mostly we begin the first class with writing directly, and without any formation, the student writes one paragraph about him or herself. He or she hands in the paragraph, and we have something to get to know our students by, and also a baseline. So for each student, we know, okay, so this is his or her level of writing. So we kind of can build on that. And as you will see during the course of this evening, we really do it stepwise, right? Let's go on by giving the students exercises that they can fulfill, by giving them clear goals. We build self-confidence. So they succeed with an exercise, they succeed in solving a writing problem, they succeed in following a certain structure, and that will motivate them, and that will self-motivate. And the last part of our philosophy is that we teach with passion. That's also something remarked upon. Both of us, we enjoy writing, we enjoy teaching writing, and what we want is to communicate this enjoyment, this passion to our students. So a little bit about our methodology. So our methodology is really, our methodology is really based on a lot of different methodologies. In the course of teaching this composition course, it's in 2 semesters for years. What we do is we try things out. If it works, we keep it. If it doesn't work, we let it go. And so this methodology is always changing, is always adapting. We always try to find new ways, new techniques to teach writing. And I will tell you a little bit later on some more about this. But basically our methodology is, first of all, goal-oriented. What we try to do is give our students clear writing purposes, so they know exactly what they're going to write and what the goal is. So we try to give them, for each writing exercise, a specific goal. So this is why you do it. Following these goals and achieving these goals makes the student successful. You know, they go from one exercise to another. Each exercise builds on the other one. Another part of our methodology is process writing. So process writing is basically teaching writing not only as writing an essay, that's a very small focus, but we look at the whole process. So what is writing? It begins with pre-writing, all the things you do before you put pen to paper or you start typing your computer. It has to do with state of mind, it has to do with brainstorming, what you're going to write about. And we guide the students to the next step, which is organizing your thoughts, organizing the information that you gathered from some investigation. And then we begin drafting. So just write it, you know, without thinking of grammar, without thinking of all the problems, just begin writing. These drafts, they are going to be revised. We revise the drafts, the students revise the drafts, other students revise drafts. So after these revisions, students can start redrafting. So they take what they have written and they try to make it better. And this is really how professional writers write as well. You know, no writer writes a book or an article in one go. It's always about repetition, going over it again and again and again and making it better. So the next to final stage is the editing. So this is about grammar, spelling, and we have certain techniques for that as well. And the final part of the stage is publishing. And this is a very important part. In a lot of traditional writing programs, it was just writing. You know, you have to write an essay about this, the teacher reads it and nobody else. So we believe that it is very motivating for the student if in some way their writing is published. So it can be in a blog, it can be on our university's platform. But this publishing of writing makes the students motivated because they see they write really for a special purpose. And it adds also to take it seriously, right? Other people are going to read what you're going to write. Next, our methodology is very strategy based. So we give the students strategies. These are like special skills that real writers use to make their products better. So just a few examples. We have ideation strategy. So this is what you're going to write about. We do a lot with brainstorming. So students never are staring at a blank piece of paper without knowing what to do. You know, they have their ideas already generated. We have some drafting strategies. So, you know, we make the students write several sentences and make them pick out the best one and explain why they think this is the best one. And there are monitoring strategies. So this is kind of going over what you've written yourself and being your own editor and being your own critic and see, okay, is this clear? Is there a clear beginning, middle, end? Another little technique, we let the students read out loud what they've written. So, you know, sometimes you hear mistakes that you don't see on paper. Our methodology is also very structure-based. So we believe that the key to writing is structure. And it's not very hard to learn the correct structure of writing. And once you have the structure, and we do it by repeating a lot, you can write about anything. So structure helps the student to organize their ideas, their thoughts, and not only in writing, this also works for like giving a speech, for example. You know, you have an introduction, you have the middle part, and you have the concluding part. Our writing is also model-based. So we as teachers, we try to model for the students how to write. So the process of writing, we model the different strategies we try to teach. We give examples of good writing and bad writing. We model how you can self-evaluate, how you can make yourself a better writer. Because our goal is in the end that the student becomes independent, right? That he or she can write very confidently without any help from us. So we model also self-control. This has to do with controlling your nerves, for example, if you have to write an essay in class for an exam. And we model positive reinforcement. This is also a very important part, that you motivate yourself, that you reinforce your good behaviors and not your bad behaviors. Another part of our methodology is that it's collaboration based. We make students collaborate on writing projects. We have them receive and give feedback to each other. We have them read each other's writings and comment on each other's writings. And even we have students co-write together. So they have to produce an article or a paper in a small group. So this collaboration-based part of the methodology is very important because we normally have pretty big classes, like 25 up to 30 students, sometimes even more. So when we have students collaborate and even help each other, some students can function like teachers themselves. I mean, remember, we are teaching for Profesorados, so we are teaching future teachers. So these students can also practice, you know, their teacher skills. Okay, our methodology is also very feedback-based, and this makes this course for the teachers at least very intensive. We try to give the students constant feedback on everything they write, and they have to write a lot. That is the next point. Giving students specific feedback on what they write, and we use different ways of doing that. We can give the student like a checklist, or we can give them specific comments. What we really try to do is that the student gets better at writing. And the only way to get better is feedback. Really, grades don't function in writing that well. I mean, we have to grade students, of course, but the feedback is the most important part. So the students see how he can make his writing better. This has to do a lot also with the frequency-based part of our methodology. We let the students write a lot. We try to let them write something every class, in class. We try to instill the habit of writing at home, like even if it's 10 or 15 minutes, because the only way to get better at writing is to do it a lot and to have a lot of practice. Another part of this methodology is to give the student the experience to write, to work on one piece of writing. So instead of making them write 14 essays, we make them write 4 essays, and they go over and over and over the same essay again. So why is this helpful? The student can see that his own writing gets better and is working on a project that he or she believes in. Remember, we try to make the students write interesting things for themselves. So they write about what they are passionate about. Normally, we as teachers, we give the subject very generally. So we never ask you have to write about the situation, the economic situation in Guatemala. We do that. We let the students choose what they are interested in, and they go over and over their article until it's ready to publish. Last part of our methodology is that it's task-based. So what we try to do is make the exercises meaningful. We try to give the students something to write about that they love. It can be something about elves, or they write about their family. Students have written about hobbies they love to do, or about social problems that really get their attention. So when the writing exercise is interesting to the student, automatically the motivation is there, and automatically also the drive to make their own writing better. So it has always something to do with their interests or with real life applications. So we help them write, for example, an application letter for a college, or an application letter for a job, a personal presentation letter, argumentative essays that really argument a point that they believe in. So everything we try to do is focused on real life applications. And that is basically our methodology. Gabriel will show you guys how we do it really in practice. So Gabriel.
Thank you, Mr. Beer. All right. So I will be teaching composition 1 and composition 2. So what we're going to look at right now is the content, general view of the content that you'll be learning in composition 1 and in composition 2. So in composition 1, we're focusing on the sentence and paragraph structure. So from sentence to paragraph. So what that means is that we're going to start learning from sentences to paragraphs. So what will you learn from this course? You'll learn how to apply the writing process, how to begin brainstorming, how to use different types of sentence structures, how to recognize fragmented and run-on sentences, and how to write different types of paragraphs with proper paragraph structure. All right, so we like to use the writing process. This is a process that is not linear. So what that means is that we can move back and forth from one stage to another, always to help improve our final draft of the piece that we are writing. So in this course, you will practice the application of the writing process. We are going to break down the writing process into 5 stages. The first stage being the pre-writing stage. Here you will learn pre-writing strategies to prepare content, As Mr. Beard said, you'll be learning brainstorming strategies, and we'll be also learning how to categorize the ideas that we developed in the brainstorming and how to organize them in a logical manner. The second stage would be the drafting stage. You will practice writing drafts of your paragraph. So we like to have you write a first draft, a second draft, and even a third draft until you get the best piece of writing you can get. Then we have the revising stage. Here you will learn to revise your paragraph for organization. So here we're going to learn the different elements and components that come along with writing a well-written sentence and well-written paragraph. Then we go into the editing stage. Here you will learn to edit errors in punctuation and grammar. Punctuation is something that a lot of English as a foreign language students have problems with. So this is something that we pay close attention to punctuation. Now, grammar, we check that as well, but that's not our main focus. Our main focus is the structure of the piece that we are writing. Then we have publishing. You will share your writing with the class. So here it's also important, to motivate students to write something well because they know that they're going to share it with someone. All right. So let's look a little bit into the pre-writing stage. So here we focus on applying different brainstorming strategies to generate ideas for the type of paragraph we are going to write. So I have a couple of examples of what I'm talking about. So if we're writing a descriptive paragraph, a good brainstorming strategy would be to use a mind map. A mind map is a type of brainstorming strategy that we can use to come up with ideas and details and to show the relation that they have with each other. And in doing this, we can come up with information to write about, making the writing process much easier in the drafting stage. Another example is of the Venn diagram. So if we're writing a comparison and contrast paragraph, a Venn diagram is an excellent brainstorming strategy to use for this type of writing. So here I have an example of a Venn diagram. In one circle, we write content on one topic, and in the other, we write details and content about the other topic. And in the center, where these two circles overlap, we write details about how they are similar. So in using this brainstorming strategy, we can make comparisons and contrasts about the two topics we are writing about. All right, next we focus on sentence structure. So we focus on writing sentences with proper structure. In academic writing, we typically use 4 types of sentence structures. We have the simple sentence, the compound sentence, the complex sentence, and the compound complex sentence. So the simple sentence is, simply put, a subject and a verb. So I have an example here of a simple sentence. The earth goes around the sun. So we see that we have the subject, the earth, and it's followed by the verb goes. Then we're looking at number 2, the compound sentence. So what this is, it's 2 simple sentences connected together by a coordinating conjunction. Mary went to work, but John went to the party. Mary went to work would be the first simple sentence, but in this case, we will refer to it as an independent clause. The coordinating conjunction would be but, and the second independent clause would be John went to work. The complex sentence. it gets a little more complex, but not much. So an example of a complex sentence would be, we missed our plane because we were late. So we missed our plane is the independent clause. And the dependent clause would be because we were late. So what is a dependent clause? A dependent clause is an incomplete idea. It needs, or it depends on the independent clause to give it meaning, to give it completion. And number 4, the compound complex sentence. Let's look at an example of this type of sentence. He left in a hurry after he got a phone call, but he came back 5 minutes later. So what a compound complex sentence is, it's usually made up of 2 independent clauses and a subordinate clause, or a dependent clause. He left in a hurry would be the first independent clause. He left in a hurry. The subordinate clause would be after he got a phone call. If we were to use this clause and try to make it into a sentence as it's written, after he got the phone call, this is an incomplete idea. It needs more information to make sense. Then we have the second independent clause, but he came back 5 minutes early. So this is an independent clause. What really helps you tell the difference between a dependent or independent clause is the type of conjunction. So since we're using a coordinating conjunction for this clause here at the end, but this is what allows me to call this clause an independent clause. While the clause in the center starts with after, this would be a subordinate conjunction, which is why it's a dependent clause. We'll be getting more into depth about these different types of sentence structures so that we can write with good structure. All right. Another thing we focus on are the common mistakes people make in writing. So, punctuation in writing is very important because it helps clarify the message you are trying to get across. It's also important to recognize the common mistakes in writing. So as a writing teacher, you begin to notice that students make a lot of mistakes in their writing, and you begin to identify the type of mistake that they're making. And it's good that you get the students also to understand the type of mistakes that they're making. If they're conscious about the type of mistakes that they're making, they'll be more able to recognize it and correct them on their own. So there are typically 2 types of common mistakes. We have the run-on sentences and the sentence fragment. So here we have 2 types of run-on sentences. We have the very common run-on sentence, the comma splice. I'm sure many of you that teach writing have seen these types of mistakes with your students. So I have an example of a comma splice here. I tried to clean the house, comma, I gave up and watched soap operas instead. Here we're trying to connect these 2 sentences or these 2 clauses with a comma. That would be incorrect. What we would do would be to change this comma into a period and leave it as a simple sentence and leave the other as a compound sentence. Another common mistake that students make in writing is called the polysyntheton. Here's an example of a polysyntheton. This type of mistake, it's usually used in literature as a rhetoric device to bring emotions to the writing. But in this course, we're focusing on academic writing. So it's really not recommended to use polysyntetons because it brings too much emotion. What I mean by rhetoric is emotion. It brings too much emotion and it distracts from the topic that you're writing about. It distracts from the logic of your argument. So here's an example of a polysyntheton. I went to the park and I walked my dog, and then I ate ice cream with my friends, and I went to watch a movie at night. So a polysyntheton is using many conjunctions to connect different ideas together. This would not be recommended. This is not used in academic writing. So we would simply have to separate these different ideas into separate sentences. And the next common mistake in writing would be the sentence fragment. Here's an example. The study by the university. This is an incomplete sentence. It's missing a verb. So a sentence fragment is an incomplete idea. So you will be learning how to recognize these mistakes and correct them. All right, now we're looking at types of paragraph and paragraph structure. In composition 1, you will learn different types of academic paragraphs using proper sentence structure and punctuation. So the first type of paragraph, well, these are just a few of the different types of paragraphs that you will be learning in this course. I selected these 3 as an example. So we have the persuasive paragraph. This type of paragraph tries to convince the reader that a particular point of view is valid or true. You can use your opinion and facts to try and convince the reader of your point of view. We have the descriptive paragraph. This type of paragraph describes a person, place, or thing. It provides detail-rich information that creates a dominant impression of a specific topic. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to create an image in the reader's mind to get them to visualize, to feel, to smell, to use their 5 senses to illustrate the topic you're writing about. It can be a physical thing like a dog or a cat, or it can even be an abstract idea. And here we have the narrative paragraph. This type of paragraph tells a story. It describes what someone does over a period of time in a chronological order. Simply put, it's learning how to write a story with proper structure. There are different elements that come into a narrative, and you'll be learning how to use these different elements to make a fluent story. So we will analyze paragraph structure and conduct workshops via Google Docs. Due to the pandemic, we've been forced to work online and teach writing in an online setting, which can be a little bit difficult. But we have some programs that we use to help your writing process. So I want to jump into paragraph structure. So here is a general explanation of 3 main elements in a paragraph. So we have the topic sentence. This sentence gives the gist of your paragraph. This is usually the first sentence in your paragraph. What I mean by gist is that it gives the main idea. So this gives the main idea. It's the message of your paragraph. You don't go into much detail in the topic sentence. Supporting sentences. These sentences give details, examples, and explanations of the gist. Now we go into detail. We look at evidence, facts, and we can even make an analysis of the main idea in the supporting sentences. This is the middle part of your paragraph. And lastly, we have the concluding sentence. This sentence restates the gist to clarify the message. So it rephrases or repeats the main idea that was mentioned in the topic sentence. We do this to clarify the main message of your paragraph. Now we're going to look at a general view of what you will be learning in Composition 2, from paragraph to essay. Now that you have learned all the things you need to learn in Composition 1, you are ready to begin Composition 2, where we will be learning to write an essay. All right, so what will you learn from this course? You will learn how to brainstorm, research, and categorize ideas, how to organize ideas into an outline, how to recognize and use essay structure, how to use the essay writing process, how to write different types of essays, and how to write an essay using apostille. All right, the essay writing process. Here you will learn to apply the writing process to create a comprehensible and clear essay. So let's look at how we will apply the writing process in this course. So in the pre-writing stage, you will learn to understand the writing prompt. The writing prompt being the question you are asked to answer in your essay. You will learn how to brainstorm ideas, how to categorize those ideas. You will learn how to do preliminary research on the topic you will be writing about, and how to create an outline. Number 2, drafting. Here you will begin writing your essay. Here you will learn how to write an introduction, the body, and conclusion, taking into account the different elements that make up your essay. Revising. Check sentences and paragraphs for optimal organization, improving cohesion. Checking for missing information or irrelevant sentences. In the 4th stage, we have editing, where you will proofread your essay. And we have publishing, when you share your essay with the class. All right, so apostille is important. Here you will learn how to apply research strategies and how to cite your sources using apostille. It's important to cite the sources you use when writing your essay. Citing your sources not only makes you a better writer, but also helps you avoid plagiarism and builds your credibility as a scholar. Organizing ideas. So we focus on organizing the ideas we generated from the pre-writing stage into an outline. It's important to organize all the elements in your essay in a logical manner to help improve cohesion and overall comprehension of your writing. We will conduct these workshops in where you will prepare outlines of your essay. Essay structure. So here we have the 3 main elements of an essay. I'm sure you're all familiar with it: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. However, there are more elements that make up these 3 main elements. So in the introduction, we have a topic sentence that grabs the attention of the reader, the hook. In the middle part is where we elaborate on background information and focus in on our answer to the argument. And the last sentence, the most important sentence in an essay, is the thesis statement, which provides a roadmap of what you're going to learn. That provides a roadmap of what you're going to write about. We have the body. The first sentence, here in the body, an essay usually has 3 paragraphs in the body or more. So here we're focusing on one individual body paragraph and its structure. So the first sentence, the topic sentence, clarifies the topic of your paragraph that's related to the thesis of your essay. The supporting sentences will provide facts that support the main idea. And the last sentence is a little bit different than it would be in an individual paragraph. The last sentence summarizes what was talked about in the paragraph, but also provides a hint about what will be talked about in the following paragraph. And we have the conclusion. So the first sentence in your conclusion repeats or rephrases the thesis that was mentioned in the introduction in different words. The following sentences synthesize the main ideas that were talked about in the body. What I mean by synthesize is that it shows how all the main ideas in your body paragraph are connected, how they are interconnected. And the last sentence in a conclusion could be the clincher. The clincher is used to leave a lasting impression in the reader's mind, to make them think about what you wrote and consider it important. All right, and lastly, the different types of essays you will learn. So here I have a few examples of the different types of essays you will learn in this course, but we will learn more types of essays. So the first one, we have an argumentative essay. This type of essay takes a position on an issue and attempts to convince the reader that their reasoning is true with facts and evidence. This is a very objective-based essay in where you inform the reader of the two arguments and you convince them of one argument as true. We have the descriptive essay. In this type of essay, you will learn how to provide an in-depth, detailed description of a topic so that the reader can use their 5 senses to visualize the topic. And lastly, we have the narrative essay. So in this type of essay, you will learn how to tell a story from a defined point of view. So this type of essay is organized in a logical manner, and it includes different elements to help develop a story. So let's continue. All right. So that's what the content is in composition 1 and 2.
All right, so what we would like to do is to close talking about a few of the challenges we have in this writing course. So the first one, I think everybody that teaches or also everybody that is studying is familiar with, and that is plagiarism, the famous copy and paste. So this is a challenge because in a lot of other courses, students realize that the teachers don't read what they write. So they kind of learn how to copy paste an essay or an article and are not going to be called out on it. So this challenge we really confront, because as you all know, plagiarism is illegal. You know, it can ruin your academic career. So what we do is, for us, it's very easy to detect, because as I've already told you, the students write a lot about themselves. We read a lot of what the students write. So immediately when there is a piece of writing that we see from an individual student, we kind of feel that it's very, very different than what he or she normally writes. We check it, and if it is found that the student has copy and pasted something, what we do is usually to ask them about it. You know, why did you do it? We show them how easy it is to be found out, and we always try to get a reason. You know, sometimes it's the student didn't have time, or and we say, just tell me, you know, that there was a problem and we can work with that. So we try to take out this copy pasting, this plagiarism, right in the first part of the course. And normally the student learns from this experience. You know, if he realizes that we read everything that they write, they're going to not do that anymore. So another challenge we face is the differences in entry-level English language skills. So we have that are fluent in English. Some of them, they were schooled in the United States. And we have students that have a very basic level of English. And what I try to do to confront that challenge is, as I said before, we try to look at all the students on an individual level. So for the more advanced students, we try to give them exercises that are challenging, but not impossible to do. And we adapt to the other levels of English. So our main goal is that everybody is getting better at writing. So it doesn't really matter on how you get into this course, right? You are going to get better in any ways. And our final challenge, Gabriel will tell us something about that.
Thank you, Mr. Beer. So adapting to the new normal, teaching online. So this is something that everyone in the world is experiencing, having to adapt to teaching using technology online on the internet. We have to struggle with internet speed, with how do we provide feedback to our students, how do we communicate, how do we correct them, how do we teach using technology? Well, how would we teach a writing class when we can't see them writing? Well, I've used 2 different programs that have helped me in being able not only to monitor students, but to provide them the same type of feedback I would give them if they were writing physical papers in front of me. So let's look at the first one. A program that helped me a lot in being able to teach writing is Google Docs. So Google Docs can serve as a platform to conduct writing workshops. This program allows the teacher to view the students' active participation in the writing class. Emphasis on active participation. It also allows you to provide live feedback to a specific student and to the class in general. You can also share documents and monitor the students while they write. So here I've taken a screenshot of my laptop when I'm giving a class. So here you can see that I'm using Drive. In Drive, it allows you to be able to share documents and to keep tabs on each individual student. I've created files for different students, for all my students in my course. And in this folder, they're able to share documents with me. They're able to drop a document in the folder or open a new document. And if they open a new document in the folder, I'm able to view them writing actively in the present. And here I've opened another folder where I can drop documents and share them with the entire class. And the class has access to this folder so that they can copy the document and begin modifying it and completing the activities that I have in the documents. And as you can see at the very top of this screenshot, I have tabs on each student. So I can simply click on the student's tab with their name and see what they're doing. So here I have another screenshot of an individual Google document where you can see a student writing their final draft. And it gives me the option to also leave comments and to leave editing marks on the document. In Google Docs, you also have a lot of the same functions you would have on Microsoft Word. And you can even download the document as a Word document or a PDF. Now let's move on to the next program that's very useful for a teacher who teaches writing. Squid. This is an app that I use on my tablet. Squid is an app that allows you to annotate and mark up PDF documents as if they were physical paper. This app is very useful for marking up papers and giving feedback to your students. So this allows me to give feedback as I would in a physical classroom. I will ask my students to send me their writing as a PDF document, and then I'm able to upload it to this app and begin marking it as I would in a physical essay. That way it provides that feedback that students crave and that they used to have back in the day when we still had physical classes. And another good thing about this application is that it allows you to organize the assignments that you're grading in a categorized fashion. All right, so that's all I have. Thank you for your attention.
And thank you very much. I don't know if there are any questions that we can answer, or maybe you have some commentaries.
Yes, good evening. Thank you very much, Mr. Gabriel and Mr. Beard. We will go into the questions in a second. If you have any questions, now is your opportunity, so you can start asking them. Meanwhile, we will go ahead and thank our two presentators. I think we can all agree that it was a magnificent presentation by Mr. Gabriel and Mr. Beard. Remember, the topic was the writing process, and they taught us a little bit of how they teach this, how they have taught it presentially in Universidad Mesoamericana, and how they are teaching it now online. How writing many times is cast aside because it is sometimes by other people not thought about as something as important. But when we really see the steps and we really understand this, we can see that learning how to write effectively really betters our English in a great way. Remember, so if you want to learn more about composition with our best teachers, Universidad Mesoamericana. Okay, so please
Okay,
remember.
we're going to see if we have any questions so far. Everything was so well explained that I guess so long we don't have questions. Okay, in the meanwhile, we have a comment here in the chat box from Gabriela Castañeda, saying that they enjoyed. They also have a question from Nancy Chocolan, asking to share the documents. Sure, the recording is going to be on Facebook, so you can share, you can check it there. So if you want any information in the slides, it's going to be there. Excellent professionals. Thank you, Jimena Fuentes. Your congratulations from Jimena to the two of you.
Okay, and we also have a comment from our Facebook Live. Remember, if you're not in Zoom, you can also log in through Facebook Live if you didn't catch our presentation, this or the next one, from Sulmi Aceris, who says, "Thank you for this amazing class. I am a former student who is now a successful English teacher." Thank you very much for this comment. If you have any comments, like we said, either if you are in our Zoom presentation or if you are in our Facebook Live, you can go ahead and ask your questions. We are here to listen to them and to answer them.
We have a question from Jonathan Calderon, and it says, are there more types of sentences? I mean, I knew about simple sentences and compound sentences, but it really was interesting to know that there are complex sentences too. Also great presentations, I like it. So are there more types of sentences?
Thank you, Jonathan, for the question. It depends on the point of view that you're looking at the sentence. We're looking at sentences on a structured point of view. You can also look at it as different kinds of sentences, such as a declarative sentence, an interrogative, an imperative sentence, a question, an interrogative, right? An affirmative sentence, negative sentences. It depends on the point of view that you're looking at it. We're looking at sentences in a structured point of view. So I would say there are 4 main types of sentence structures that we use in academic writing. And there are different variations of those types, especially when it comes to a compound complex sentence. It's not always organized as an independent clause followed by a dependent or an independent. It can sometimes start with 2 independent clauses followed by a subordinate clause, and it can change. Good question, Jonathan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gabriel, for answering.
Okay, so now we have another question. This is from Cindy Velasquez in our Zoom meeting. It says, how can we make students love the writing part?
I think, first of all, you have to love writing yourself. Another thing that really helps is to get the students to read as well. I mean, we haven't talked a lot about style, but style is really the only way you can only get style by reading a lot. So to make the students love writing, we let them write about what they love. We show them that they get better at writing, and we are passionate about writing. So I think these 3 things make the students love the writing as well. But you have to talk to my students if it works.
Thank you very much for your answer, Mr. Beard.
Thank you, Mr. Beard. Thank you, Mr. Gabriel. And thanks to all of you for your questions. Right now, in this moment, a confirmation of participation form is being sent to the chat box of Zoom and Facebook Live. Please fill it up. This form will be open for 20 minutes since this moment for you to send it and earn your certificate. Thank you for attending the first of our master classes. And please remember that we have an appointment on the next Thursday, October 22nd, for a second master class, Technology Tools that Boost the Students' Performance with Magister Patricia de Leon. Don't miss it. It has a lot of important information for us to grow as teachers. Thanks again for being here, and have a lovely night. Okay, we're going to fix that right away.
Everybody's got their pop